I'm your host, Dr. Raquel Tosin, and we are on broadcasting on WYTV7 community. I'm always ready to say Christian, but y'all know we're the community broadcasters now. Okay. We are on a mission to empower, encourage, and educate. I hope you guys have been feeling that from the Blessed Mindset Matters podcast. And if you have, I need you to go to www.wytv7.org, hit the green donate button, and it's a tax-free. It's going You can write it off on your taxes in 2022. Okay, well in 2023 for your 2022 taxes, and you can donate 5, 10, 50, 150, whatever you need to, or whatever you feel led to for us, because you have felt empowered, encouraged, and educated because of the Blessed Mindset Matters. Now remember, we don't just use it for the podcast. We also use it for financial literacy camps for kids. We feed families, and we also send kids to college. So go and donate for us. We are in the last week of Financial Literacy Month, and I have a treat, a treat, a treat. We have been focusing on a family. We have been talking about money. We talked about money in marriage. We talked about all kinds of things. But today we're going to talk about educating our kids on money. And my guest today is Kerwyn Phillips. He is an author. He wrote a spectacular book called Malik's First Job. We're going to talk about it. I'm so excited. He is from Morgan State University, HBCU in the house. Like, he's a CEO. He has an organization that teaches leadership, entrepreneurship, and financial literacy to youth and underserved communities. So let's welcome Kerwyn. Am I saying your name right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
All right. Welcome to the Blessed Mindset Matters. Thank you for being with us tonight.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate the invite.
Oh, I'm ready to just like jump in this because I am so excited. I love financial literacy. Everybody knows that I'm always talking about putting your mind on your money, saving your money, using life insurance policies, just buying up real estate. But I'm always talking about all that stuff. But this is the first time that we're talking about how to educate our kids. So tell us a little bit about your book.
Yes. So my book is called Malik's First Job, Financial Principles for Teens. This is a book that I released last year, January 2021, as a resource to help teach our young people how to manage their money. Several years ago, I was doing workshops in the Richmond, Virginia area, financial literacy workshops, and I was using other books. I was using books like The Richest Man in Babylon, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and a few others. And I found it was kind of hard to get the kids engaged in the information, especially books like The Richest Man in Babylon, because they really couldn't connect with the whole setting of the book. And like some of the names were hard to pronounce, and it was kind of hard to get through the information, which also was like a barrier. They're like, I can't understand the names. The setting doesn't seem real to me. So it made it kind of hard to get the financial principles across to the young people. So, I sat back and I thought about it. I'm like, okay, what can I do to kind of, make the material more engaging? I said, you know what, I'm gonna write my own book, right? Yes. I said, I'm gonna write my own book, putting in a setting that the kids are familiar with, right? I'm from Brooklyn, New York. The book itself is about a young man from Brooklyn working at a sneaker store, right? And a lot of our kids are into sneakers and shoes and stuff like that. And, his name's Malik. And I'm sure, a lot of kids within the inner city have a friend that's named Malik. So there's a character that they can really identify with. And with that, it makes it easier for me to kind of get the information across, right? So what happens in the book, young Malik goes on his first job interview. And then soon after, he sits down with his father, and his father shares with him 9 key principles on how to manage his finances.
Wow. First of all, kudos to you for writing your own book and understanding that kids need to be taught on their level. Because I'm gonna tell y'all, The Rich Man in Babylon, it was hard for me to read through, and I got all kind of degrees, but it's not an easy book to read. And really, in The Rich Dad Poor Dad is a great book, but it kind of lost me too at some point. I was like, I was like, I'll go and pick out the good stuff and I
Mm-hmm.
might not read the rest. So having the book that speaks specifically to your target audience is key. So thank you, because I'm gonna buy the book. I just found you, but I'm gonna buy the book because I will be using that book. Believe that. So
Yes, ma'am.
Malik getting a job, and it's at a tennis shoe store,
Yes.
and we know that our kids love tennis shoes. Like,
Yes.
so it was part, like, and I can't wait to read the book, but I hope you talked about spending all that money on tennis shoes. But oh, I'm just playing. If Nike and Michael Jordan, if they ever hear this, I'm just playing. Buy the tennis shoes, buy the tennis shoes. Okay. But no,
Yeah.
I talked about that though before. I was like, we need to teach our kids, in my opinion.
Right.
It's okay to have a pair of Jordans, but you know what? Don't just have a whole lot of Jordans when you can buy one pair and then go buy some stock in it too.
Exactly. We
Buy
gotta
some
keep it
stock
balanced.
in it. Do both. Don't just. But it's like, go buy stock in them Jordans. Go buy stock in the thing that you always spending your money on. So it's like
Yep.
you giving yourself some money too.
Yes, ma'am. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Now, okay, so Malik's first job and then his dad. So that right there, I just needed, because I want to talk about the story a little bit, because the dad, it's important for fathers, even if you don't live in the house with your kids,
Mm-hmm.
to be there to talk to your kids about money. Do
Yes.
you Is that why you had his dad? Did you have his dad talking to him about money because you are a dad, or did you just think that was your dad the one that told you about money?
Well, funny thing is, my dad, my parents were real good with money, but I learned my lessons the hard way. Right, I
Mm,
wasn't one who really sat down at his feet and listened. When I was, my young adult years, I was more hard headed. Wanted to figure things out myself, which is again a reason why I wanted to write this book, because I wanted to kind of give, because this is the book I wish I had when I was a young adult. Right,
mm-hmm.
so I want to kind of give this to young people now. That way, they don't make the same mistakes I did, coming out of college and doing different things. But the reason why, I guess I had, because when you read the book itself, you see there's a sense of community, a sense of family. And I think that's not really spoken of enough within our community. They always highlight, the single mothers and the broken homes. But I wanted to let people see that, yes, you can have, a family unit that's all stands together and works, and works as a unit. Also, when you read the book, you'll also see that the community comes together and supports Malik in his endeavors as well. Because the time when I grew up within a community in Brooklyn, right, where everyone at a time when everyone you knew who your neighbors were, you can be disciplined by your neighbors and things of that sort. So I grew up in a community, and I think oftentimes nowadays some of that stuff is lost. So I just want to let people see it, that way they can envision it and hopefully bring that back together for all of us.
Right, right. That's good. Now, because you said young adult, so is Malik a young adult, or is he like a high school student?
He's a high school student. High school student.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but now, I'm good. I need to go back. Did your father try to talk to you when you were in high school about money, or like middle school? Did he talk to you when you were young, or?
We never really had like real deep financial conversations from what I can
Mm.
remember.
See,
You know,
that's the point I wanted to make, because I love my parents, but they really didn't have deep money conversations with kids back in the day.
right.
The people really didn't do it. And guess what? They're probably not doing it today, because some people, have you ever heard people saying, we were broke, but I didn't know it?
Yeah. Yep.
Now, but some people say that some people knew that they was broke, but they didn't feel broke because they always had enough. But some people literally did not know it, because they asked for money, they got it. They asked for stuff, they got it. Their parents never share. Hey, I just
Right.
ain't got it, or we struggling. We didn't. parents didn't talk about that with their kids.
True, true.
And sharing stuff. So I think that just the fact that his father set him down when he got the going on the job, got the job. Hey, look, let me tell you how to. You about to make some money. I'm going to teach you how to do your money. I
Right.
think that's such a great lesson for parents, but especially for fathers, whether you are in the home or not. Go talk to these boys about money. And some people might like say, well, they don't know about money. That's why they don't talk to people about money. Well, if that's the case, they need to go get some education. Maybe they need to read the book.
Right.
Read
Right.
the book for yourself so you can learn some things that Malik learned, right?
What's funny is that I had like a lot of parents reach out to me who, they bought their books for their children, but they say they read it themselves and they've learned things that they never knew before, right? Things that they want to implement in their own lives to help get themselves, more financially stable and build a good nest egg.
And I said that, and it's so funny because I said that because I know for a fact that we do not learn about money in school.
Right.
So if they don't teach us in school, and a lot of our parents left our education up to the schools.
Yep.
I actually had parents that were teachers, so they did not leave it up to. They taught me at home all the time. I don't recall having a lot of money conversations when I was younger. I started having. Let me tell you what my mama did when I got my first child. My mama
Okay.
made me give her my check, and she gave me an allowance from my check.
Wow. You
Yeah,
know,
my
it's,
mama was funny that way. She was like, mama, give me that check. She
it's
gave me an
funny.
allowance.
I did something similar with my son. I didn't give him an allowance, but when he got like his first job, he was like about 14, 15, working at a summer camp. I said, look, this is all I want you to do. Give me 10% of what you earn. I said, I don't care what you do with the rest of it, but just give me 10% of what you get every week and let me hold on to it. Right. And initially he was kind of apprehensive about doing it. But then, after a while, he said, okay, he agreed to it. And then what happened was, it was a summer job that he had. And at the end of the summer, I think I had about like $300 or $400 saved for him. Right. And my initial plan was to take the money and invest. Right. But at the time, like we didn't have all these apps where it was
Oh
much
yeah.
easier to get into. So I didn't know how to get into the stock market, but I was like, I wanted to do it. So I was trying to do some research, and then things got, I think I got a little aggravated about it. I couldn't find the right information, but I still held on to the money for him. But I never invested it, but I still had it. And came around Christmas time. He needed some money for something. And he asked me, he said, Dad, can I borrow X amount of dollars? I need to do X, Y, and Z. I'm like, well, I still got that $400 for you. He's like, wow, I forgot you had that. I'm like, you see? Now, if I left it up to you, it'll be December. You wouldn't have anything to show for it. But the fact in which I took the money, I put it to the side. Now it's like 3-4 months later, you still have some money that you can use that you made from over the summer. So even though we didn't get the initial lesson of investing at that time, I think I still got the point across of the importance of saving and putting away because you can have it for later on when you need it.
Yes, that was so good. Now, my mom, what she did, she saved my money because she didn't use it for bills. She was a single mom, so she probably could have used that money for some bills. But what she did, she saved it, put it in an account. That's when the banks was giving you more than a quarter. Anyway, I'm not going to get on the banks today, but that's when the banks was actually giving you a little money interest.
Interest.
When I went to college, and I would call her and be like, "Ma, I need some money." She used that money that she had saved for me so I could have money while I was in college. I didn't have to work a job because she was able to send me money all the time.
Wow.
And that was huge. So if I needed something, she had the money there. And so she was smart in that way. I thought it was kind of child abuse, but
Right.
God bless
Right.
her soul. But I need to take a quick break. When we come back, we're gonna get into a couple of a few, maybe four of some of the subjects that you talk about because I really want to get into this for my people who may be out there and you won't go buy the book. I'm going to tell you why you need to buy the book. So we're going to come right back and delve into the book. Don't go away. Stay and watch the commercial and then come back. We'll be right back. Mindset Matters podcast.
You're invited to the Smart Strategies for a Slim Body Masterclass hosted by Integrative Healing Arts and Simply Fit. Throughout the demonstrated masterclass, you'll learn healthy habits that will slim you down, like making time for exercise and finding a quiet place for meditating. Throughout the masterclass, you'll learn about acupuncture and sleep, as well as balanced meals and responsible snacking. For more information about the May 21st masterclass, just click the registration link that you see on the screen.
We are back with Kerwyn Phillips and Malik's first job, financial principle for teens. I'm so excited. We listen. This book has so many good nuggets in here. If you don't buy this book, something is not right. If you have kids, you need to buy this book. So we talked about Malik having a job. So that's the first principle, creating a source of income. So even if your child does not have a job, they go out, because it's not easy finding jobs now for teenagers. Did you know that?
Right.
There have, because grown people got the jobs that teenagers at these fast food restaurants and stuff. Mm-hmm. Grown people got it. So parents and teens have to be smart about creating a source of income, even if it's not a job.
Right.
So did you talk about other ways to create a source of income in the book?
Yeah, so in the book, we talk about like conventional ways, like depending upon how old a teenager is, they may not be able to go to like a business and get a job. So they may have to create their own source of income, right? So there's like, let's say in the wintertime, shoveling snow in the neighborhood or cutting grass in the neighborhood, babysitting, doing hair. One thing which I highly recommend to a lot of young people, because right now they're so active on social media, and a lot of adults who own businesses, they need help in social media marketing. So these young people who are quite savvy with the Facebook and the Twitter and the TikTok, they can be social media managers for adults who don't know how to navigate this whole system. And that's something that they do every day. They're very comfortable with it. And they could probably earn a decent amount of money, helping business owners.
Oh,
that's something that people don't even think about.
That's good. And even just, I think about like my dad with his iPhone and trying to figure it out. Just giving tutorials of how to use stuff, or going into like some of these places where maybe not the nursing homes, but the places where older people, like senior citizen places, going in there and charging just a little bit to help them maneuver their cell phone so they'll know how to use it. That's good. That's good. Okay. And we talked a little bit about the pay yourself first and how you taught your son. And paying yourself first is just, before you pay your bills, take that 10% and stock it away for yourself. But you also talk about savings. So how do you what is the difference between the paying yourself first and saving? How do you differentiate that?
I think it's pretty much close to the same thing. Because you're taking that money, you're not spending it, right? You're saving it. But even once you build that savings, you don't want to keep it all in one basket, right? You want to take a portion. Of course, you need to have some money in case of an emergency, like an emergency fund. But then you can also take a portion of that money and invest it, right? That way, it's not just sitting; it can grow. Because I think you kind of hinted earlier about just leaving your money in your bank account, and
it's like putting it under the mattress.
Right. I think you may be better off putting it up under the mattress.
Yeah, because some banks have penalties if you don't have a certain amount, and they start taking stuff out of it.
Exactly. So, of course, like I said, you want to have a certain portion, whereas in case life happens, you have something. But then you also want to have a certain portion that you put to the side that's staying ahead of the rate of inflation, right? Because even in like recent years, we see that inflation rate is almost like 10%. Which is, way almost double what it normally is. So you want to put it in vehicles like, stocks, and look into like mutual funds and bonds. You just, you speak to your financial advisor to see what's the best course, as far as you staying ahead of that rate of inflation. Because again, if anything below whatever that rate is, you're just losing money. So just
Right.
being knowledgeable about interest, like we speak about the rule of 72.
Yeah.
And Einstein says that compound interest is the eighth or ninth one in the world.
Right.
He
Yeah.
who understands it earns it. He who doesn't pays it. Right. So you have to be very knowledgeable about interest rates and how to get them to work for you in your advantage and not let them take advantage of you in those different avenues.
Right. Let me tell you, the number one chapter, well, there's two chapters that I absolutely just seeing the titles that I was just like, okay, these are the chapters right here. The first one is discipline your spending. When you talk about
Yes.
smart financial goals and budgeting.
Yes.
Can we talk about budgeting for a minute? How do you teach? Because it's hard for me to teach grown folk because I work with
Right.
grown folk and money. It's hard to teach people. I don't budget. The budgeting is just so strict. I don't want to do that. It's just so restrictive.
Right.
And I'm telling, no, it's not restricting. It's being intentional, putting your money where you want it to go. Because when my son was in college, I could see how he spent his money. And
Right.
you already know all his money went to food,
Yeah.
wings,
That's
pizza.
most people.
It was just, and I was just like, dude, you have a meal plan, but all your money is still going. I say, you just spending money willy nilly and you don't even know where it's going.
Right.
And it's like, so if you're intentional, you might not want your money to go there. Now, if you want your money to go there, that's one thing. But if you really don't want your money to go there, then be intentional and put your money where you want it to go. Don't just spend money. That's what a
Right.
budget is for.
Yeah. And I think, what happens with most people, like you spoke about food, that's where I think the majority of people who, that's living, their money goes towards food, right? If you think you're going to work, 5 days a week, like you're on your way to work, you may stop by the gas station, you stop by Starbucks, get you a cup of coffee, get you a pastry or a breakfast sandwich.
Yeah.
You can spend $10 easy for breakfast. Then you go out again for lunch. You may go to McDonald's, Panera, or wherever. That's another like $10, $15. So far you've spent $25. Throughout the day at work, you may go to the snack machine, snack on something, but get you a soda. So easy, you can spend about $30 a day, right, in food, right? And then that times 5 days a week, that's $150 that you spent on eating out.
A week.
Right? A week. Now, what if you took that same money, went to the grocery store, and brought your lunch to work, or made your coffee at home? You could save at least half of that, right? Because often people wonder, okay, I'm spending money. How many times? I'm gonna speak to your audience. How many times you get paid on Friday, and you go through the weekend, you do whatever, then you come back, you look at your bank account, and you're like, I done spent how much money? What did I spend it on? And you try to document, and you just can't remember where that money went. It's like you'll say, okay, I spent X money, but it's still like $50 to $75 missing. I don't know where it's at.
Right.
It's probably food.
Probably food.
Probably in food.
Yes.
That's why we say it's important to budget, because if you document, okay, I have X amount of dollars coming in. These are my bills, right? These are my wants, my needs. Okay, my light bill, phone bill, this, that. Because a lot of times people spend money, they're not conscious of what they're spending. And if you were to sit down and document and list out what you're spending, you become more aware. You're like, wow, I didn't realize I'm spending $150 on lunch in a week. That doesn't make any sense. I need to switch that up. And then, you become more focused on it. And especially if you're trying to set a financial goal for yourself, right? You're going to need a budget, because you need to say, if I want to have X amount of dollars saved up within a year, then I need to cut out these certain things I really don't need. Maybe I don't need Netflix. Maybe I don't need a subscription.
You know what? When you just said something. You said having a goal, and I think that is the key for kids, because they don't pay bills.
Right.
But they have goals that they want. They may want to go to a certain camp. My son was in the music. Well, he still is. He's a music teacher now. But he wanted to go to Grammy camp. Grammy camp was thousands of dollars.
Right.
But if he had worked, we could have been like, okay, you have a goal to go to Grammy camp, so you need to save for Grammy camp, as opposed to me saying, okay, you just need to figure out how you're going to budget. But having a goal for your kids, I think that's probably one of the best ways to teach budgeting at first.
Right.
And I also like for parents who have even younger kids and you give them allowances, you should still allow them to have a goal so they will save the money. As opposed, don't just give them money without a goal. Make sure that they have a goal so you can teach them how to save, how to budget, and watch what they're doing. Because you don't want to get them in a habit of just getting money and spending it.
Right.
We create that when we give kids money when they're little, calling it allowance or just giving them money and letting them get it, spend it, get it, spend it. How you think that when they're 17 or 18 or 24 that they're going to stop that habit? We can create the right habit when we first start giving them money.
Exactly.
And if we do that when we first start giving them the money, then it won't be so difficult when they get their jobs for them to really like start even thinking about budgeting for other stuff because they understand saving money for a goal, spending my money wisely. Even if the goal is just to be able to go to the ice cream store every month or to their favorite restaurant,
Right.
it's still a goal.
Yes.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, we gotta hurry up. We only got a few minutes. My absolute favorite chapter is be grateful. How do you teach this in this book? Because gratitude, oh my God, that is everything.
I always use the example, like, let's say if you walk into a store, how do you feel if you hold a door for somebody and they don't say thank you? You sit there and you kind of look at them funny, like, wow, I just held a door for you and you can't even say thank you, right? And the same thing happens within the universe, right? Things happen in our lives and, no matter what, higher power, whatever you believe in, you got to express some sort of gratitude. Say, okay, thank you. Appreciate what you have, because there's always somebody out there that may be doing worse than how you're doing.
Yes.
We always try to find ways to give back. Always speak highly about the law of reciprocity. Think about how you would want somebody to react if you're in that particular situation. Because what goes around comes around. The energy that you put forth is what you get back, right? So if I tell people, if you're stingy with your money, you're gonna find it real hard for money to come to you. But if you, not to say that you give all your money away, you don't do that, but you kind of give as you can and be kind of open with it. Then you'll find certain miracles will happen within your life because you put forth that energy that comes back to you.
I love that. When you were saying about being grateful, I'm gonna tell my age for real. But one of my favorite songs when I was a little girl, and I was a little girl, but one of my favorite songs was "You May Not Have a Great Big Cadillac or no car. You may not even have a car at all. But remember, brothers and sisters, you can still hang up and was like, just be thankful for what you got. And then that diamond in the back, sun rooftop. But that's always like when they say you may not have a car at all. It's like, but be grateful for what you got. Like that song, I was a little girl when I heard that song, and that always stayed with me, even though I was raised in the church. But it was that song. That's why I be telling people, look, God give us messages through everything. He is bigger than the church. He is bigger than the church, people. He's bigger than the church. God is everywhere. And if you call him universe, he gonna still say yes. Okay? Stop. But it was that song that taught me gratitude better than anything I learned in church. Wow. And it stays with me to be thankful for what I got. And that it don't matter what other people got. I'm gonna be grateful for what I got. And so oh my God, I had to set the timer because I knew that this conversation I knew I was gonna get all into it and I was gonna go over the time. Thank you for being here. Thank you for helping the Blessed Mindset Matters community, to how to teach their children about financial literacy. Y'all go out and get the book. Show the book again. Malik's First Job, Financial Principles for Teens. Go get the book. It's on Amazon, or you can go. What's your website that they can go to?
Oh, it's maliksfirstjob.com.
Okay, that makes it so simple. maliksfirstjob.com. Go get the book. And if you can, go buy a few copies and give some to your kids' friends. If your kids are older, but you didn't have these talks, no, don't buy that to them, because they're gonna be looking at you like this. But you can still have it. You can have it on your kitchen table. You have it on your dining room table, and I bet they might pick it up. You just never know, right? But buy some copies for people. Hey guys, we gotta move on. Thank you for being here. Thank you for staying and listening to the whole time. I hope you guys have gotten something out of April financial literacy, because we're focused on the family, and the family needs finances. Okay, so until next week, be blessed.